So this is Anxiety by Jalen Brooks. Anxiety overall is a feeling of dread, restlessness, and uneasiness in your environment or whatever situation you are facing. Events rapidly approaching situations that you cannot control or with uncertain outcomes can cause anxiety. A little bit or a small amount of anxiety can be good for you, and if you have too much of that anxiety, it can be bad for you. And certain symptoms of anxiety affect your performance in your workplace as well as your environment and socially as well. So anxiety and anxiety disorders are different. Anxiety is just like that gut feeling you might have here and there, but anxiety disorders are extremely different as they do not go away and can worsen over time. There are six main different types of disorders that are derived from anxiety: general anxiety disorders, panic disorders, phobias, social anxiety disorders, separation anxiety disorders, and PTSD. So the relevance of anxiety, with COVID happened a couple years ago, the anxiety has shifted up. Um, it fits the exact definition of anxiety, in fact, as it's a situation that we did not see coming, and when it happened to hit us, we thought that simple medicine and stuff was going to be fine, but people ended up dying and getting sick out of nowhere, and like you can see here, it increased the anxiety levels by a massive 25%, according to the World Health Organization. Uh, Sometime in your life as adults, you will experience a panic attack, um, an anxiety disorder of some sort, or a point of anxiety, as nearly 30% of adults in some point of their lives experience it. Women are more likely to experience anxiety as well. And this is the morbidity part of anxiety. 2 to 3% of adults experience panic attacks at some point in their life. 2% of adults have generalized anxiety disorders. 8 to 12% of adults have some kind of phobia, and 7% of adults experience some kind of social anxiety disorder. So, how does it occur? Like I said earlier, there are different factors that play into contributing to anxiety, such as stress, environment, emotions, and traumatic events, which is more so towards PTSD. So, I'm going to explain in simple terms the brain. So, the amygdala, I believe is how you pronounce it, is deep in your brain, in the temporal tubes of your brain. It's like a circular tube kind of thing deep in your brain. When that part of your brain senses trouble, frustration, and anxiety ensues, it sends a ton of hormones through your body into your brain. Of those hormones, cortisol is known as a stress hormone, and that's most of the chromosomes getting sent through your body, sending your adrenaline through the roof. Um, to put it shortly, it's essentially when the emotional part of your brain is knocked off balance. So, as far as chemistry, there are tons of chemicals in your body and your brain, but the most common chemical known as adrenaline is called epinephrine. And when certain external forces or circumstances trigger anxiety, these chemicals will respond in your body and trigger those symptoms that you're feeling. That's the dizziness, that's your stomach hurting, that's the sweating, sweaty palms, pacing back and forth, and all that stuff. So symptoms. So on the left, these are the symptoms of the basic type of anxiety, like that quick gut feeling that you might have for a little bit till the situation's over. And those symptoms are increased heart rate, dizziness, shortness of breath, quick changes in behavior, being easily frustrated, and rapid constant sweating. Noted as below, coffee, caffeine, and things that increase your blood flow like that and increase your heart rate like that are really bad for you, as they can increase the severity of symptoms. On the right over here are different symptoms for the different disorders: restlessness, easy fatigue, difficulty concentrating, sleeping, and harder to control when being worried. That's like if you just had some kind of anxiety disorder, like what the general population has. That's what you'd be classified under. Panic disorders are different, as racing, trembling your heart, sweating, feeling out of control. Phobias are only specific to what exactly you're afraid of. So if you don't like spiders, you won't exhibit these phobia symptoms to if you didn't like, let's say, water. So being easily irritated, irrational, and acting scared and uneasy is applied to that specific phobia that you'll be experiencing. I think social anxiety disorder is really common. I feel like I might have it sometimes is when I might be talking to someone, maybe someone that you like or someone that you're just nervous around. You'll start blushing or getting stomach aches. And separation anxiety disorder is like when you feel uneasy when you're away from people. So, like going to college for most people, since they're far away from home, if that person were to feel like if they were something's bad going to happen to their family when they're away, that's like separation anxiety disorder. So, anxiety is telling your health is huge. If you have anxiety and just suffer from a disorder, and you know how it raises your heart rate, you're more susceptible to high blood pressure and different heart diseases. If you suffer a panic attack, you can feel the hyperventilating and stuff. You feel the sharp chest pain in your body. Um, Anxiety can also cause indigestion, which is huge because that makes pain in your abdomen, heartburns, and puts you in a nauseated state. And when you feel anxious, your whole body's out of whack, so you don't eat well, your sleep is worse, you feel sleepier, and that definitely affects your performance in the workplace. So prevention. These two are basic. Eat healthier foods and limit the amount of caffeine, alcohol, and sugar that you consume. Those are like help any kind of most diseases that are on this earth. These last three are super important. I feel keeping a journal. Um, every day you write down your anxiety level from level 1 to 10. Talk about what made you anxious, how you're fixing it, maybe who you're talking to, and that's just kind of pacing yourself to help you get over it. Take time to yourself. I take time to myself. Taking walks, going to get food, treating yourself to movies and stuff is really good. You should do it for 30 minutes to an hour to a day to really just get yourself together and collect your thoughts and just be you and be in the moment. And shorten your schedule and take out the things that add stress to your life. So, you got a really tight schedule. Take out the unnecessary things, maybe um, that'll lower the amount of stress you have, make you less anxious, and then you'll perform well on the little bit amount of things you have to do. Treatment super basic: cognitive and behavioral therapy, medication, antidepressants, and benzodiazepines, known as tranquilizers. There are many different kinds of medications, but these were the number two that popped up the quickest when I searched it up. You can definitely see a psychologist or you can seek a counselor. So, human performance and anxiety's effect on it. Uh, I had many different sources look at this and kind of compare them. So, anxiety before and after your sports performance can definitely affect your performance. Uh, I think a really good example of a sport for this is gymnastics, as you need a lot of core, you need a lot of strength, you need a lot of concentration to that's even land right, swing faster, or just little things. If you have anxiety, your body tends to tense up and your head's not in the game, and you could mess up. Anxiety also invites negative thoughts. A lot of people think too hard on themselves. I do it sometimes too in a game. People beat themselves up and stuff like that, and that really lowers your performance in sports. It did say that a moderate, that's like a sprinkle of anxiety, is improved to slightly increase your performance. However, if that little bit overflows, it turns really bad, as it actually has been shown to contribute to getting injured in your sport. So, mortality rates. This was the most important to me because I thought it was interesting to how it actually affects your life expectancy and how long people think you're going to live. As stated here, you can die up to 8 years. Most people die up to 8 years earlier than they should because of being anxious or being depressed. And people who have had premature deaths, or like when you see somebody like, they have so much more time left, how they die. Those kind of people are 76 more percent more susceptible to die if they have suffered from anxiety or depression. And the morbidity rates were included on slide 3. And here are all my sources.